30,000 to get rid
We'll
of.
get started. Thanks very much for coming tonight to our Candidates Meet and Greet. This event is sponsored by the Friends of the Raleigh Library. I encourage you to keep an eye out for the mailing. The membership invitation just went out this week. May is membership month. So send in your dues and keep your membership current at the Friends of the Library. I also want to mention their book sale is this weekend. There is a preview for Friends members on Friday night at 5:30. And the rest of the book sale hours are Saturday 9 to 3 and Sunday 11 to 2. The Friends also sponsored the refreshments in the back there. Please partake. And what we're going to do tonight is I'm going to have a timer, and each candidate will have 2 minutes to give a statement. There's no contested races on the ballot, so it's not a debate. It's just an opportunity for people to see your face and hear a little bit about your ideas about Raleigh or the Triton School Committee, school district. And Raleigh Community Media is here, so hopefully they will be playing this on Comcast and Verizon 26 at 9, yes, up until Election Day, which is May 9th at St. Mary's Church, noon to 8. And I'm going to go in order of the names being printed on the ballot. And if you see me do this, it means your 15-second warning. All right, and we're going to start with Joseph Perry, who is a candidate for selectman.
Thank you. Thank you. I've been pretty lucky this year that I've been working on the Pine Grove School renovation, and I've also newly elected to the Raleigh Housing Authority, and I've been learning a lot there. They're requiring us to be certified, and so they said there's just a 1-hour program that you have to go through to be certified. Well, they made a little mistake on that. It's 6 1-hour programs to go through for the certification, but it's interesting. You learn a lot about the housing. I have been chair of the Board of Selectmen for a year, and you do learn a lot on that too. You do participate a lot in negotiations with the unions. So we have the police, fire, and the local union for local employees, and we did a pretty good job, but we have a little bit more work to do. We're hoping that we can come in with a reasonable budget, and things have worked out so far. We're hoping that the Pine Grove School renovation goes through on Tuesday, so that we can use the state money. It's important for us because we are getting 50%, just over 50% back from the state. So we want to take advantage of that and renovate the Pine Grove School. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe. I should have said that we'll save questions for individual candidates for the end. And next I would like to invite Bob Murray, who is running for Municipal Light Board and Cemetery Commissioner. And I guess if you would like extra time for the 2 positions, that would be allowed.
I can teach a little bit more if you give me an extra minute.
Yeah.
Actually, she said, Light Board and Cemetery Commission. In reality, I'm really running for my life. So, let's see what we can get done here. Okay, my name is actually G. Robert Murray, and I live at 40 Warehouse Lane. And I'm a candidate for the Municipal Light Plant Board of Commissioners. And so far, I have lived all my life in Raleigh. I just keep hoping that'll keep going. In 1964, I was hired by the Raleigh Light Department as a groundman. I progressed to line foreman, and in 1980, as foreman, I was also appointed assistant manager upon the retirement of Bernie McCormick in 1981. I was appointed manager, and for the next 19 years, I ran the day-to-day operations of the department. In 1999, I retired after 35 years of service to the light department. My first elected position in town government was a cemetery commissioner. From 1966 to 1972, with this background, I have a good feel for the operations of the cemetery. I would like to use this experience to help the cemetery move forward. I'm also on the Board of Selectmen, and I'm in my 4th term, which is about 12 years. Okay. There's one other thing I would like to read here, we're kind of proud of this at the Light Department. Congratulations, APPA would like to comment your utility for achieving exceptional electrical reliability in 2015. Now, APPA is American Power Association. It's a municipal electric system. They take care of all those. There are 2,000 municipal systems in the United States. There are 40 in Massachusetts. Now, we're publicly owned. We don't have to worry about investors. Keep them happy with their money, that type of thing. EPA has taken our utility reliability data compiled through Reliability Tracking Service and compared it to the top quartile of system outage duration. The National Reliability Data Collection by the Energy Information Administration to formally celebrate your utility's accomplishment and present you with the attached and excellent I have also provided a press release, but we're not going to use that. But this is the certificate that they presented to us. Now what's interesting is we also got one in 15, and this one's in 16. So it's been 2 years in a row. So I'd just like to say that, you know, we really have a great crew. We have about eight employees total. And they do a great job. They're very conscientious. Get out there, get things done. When you get a reliability thing like that, it's really, really good. So.
Thank you.
They are the best.
Yeah, we do that.
Okay, Janet Keithy, our trustee for the library board is here. Do you care to make a statement? Janet has declined to make a statement, but I worked with Janet on the Board of Library Trustees for 10 years now. So we are very grateful for her for agreeing to run yet again and look forward to working with her for the next 3 years. We have a newcomer to the library board, Charles Costello, who also serves on the Board of Health.
My name's Charlie Costello. I've lived in Raleigh for 28 years. Live up on Bennett Hill Road in the old Ma Fuller's Tavern house. I've been active in town mostly in the Board of Health. I've been an active member and chairman on the Board of Health for 18 years. And we've been very busy there at certain times because of high development, and other times when development is slow, it's a little slower. But I'll continue to work on the Board of Health and look forward to being a candidate for the library board. I'm semi-retired now. I've decided to become only part-time worker. And so I have more time to give to the town. And I love the library here. I love the services they provide, and I think I can add with a little support and maybe a few ideas. I just recently benefited from language tapes. I went to a place where they spoke Spanish and I didn't speak any. And 2 months before I left, I got the tapes, and Pimsleur was the name of it. and it was very helpful. And then I went to a place a month later where they spoke French, and I got the same Pimsleur brand tape free from the system here, and I could remember a lot of the old French that I learned. So that was a wonderful service for a resident that I didn't really know about before. So I'm looking forward to this. I won't have to look into septic systems and do that sort of thing. And I hope you support me in the election. Thank you.
Okay, our third candidate for library trustee is a write-in candidate, and actually it was Maggie's idea to hold this event this evening, so thank you. Are you able to?
Sure. I apologize for my screaming children. You might remember them from town meeting the other night. Hi, I'm Maggie Lemlin. I'm a write-in candidate for Raleigh Library Trustee. This would be my second term serving, and I just want to apologize for not getting my paperwork in time. For some reason, 27 signatures by March 21st became 27 signatures by March 27th. So I missed my filing deadline, but I am very interested in returning to the board and continuing to serve. Over the last 3 years, we've had some wonderful projects, some wonderful team and group conversations. We have an incredible staff and team here at the library. I moved here in 2008, and shortly thereafter gave birth to my first child and stumbled into story time here at the library, and just instantly fell in love. I could not believe that such a small little town had such an incredible library and so many wonderful programs. And I've connected with so many people in town through the library. And so as soon as I had the opportunity to serve at the library, I wanted to join the trustees, so that's what I've done. And there'll be a lot of interesting programs coming up in the next year, and I'm very excited about continuing to serve. My children will not be attending any of the trustees meetings, so I just assure you. We just had a little daycare issue today, but I thank you very much. If you will write in my name for Raleigh trustees, I guess any form of M. Lemlin, Margaret Lemlin, Maggie Lemlin will serve as a legal vote. So thank you so much. Take care.
Thank you, Maggie. And our final two candidates to present tonight are for the Triton Regional School District Committee. The Newbury member was not able to join us tonight, but Tina Zotzitz is running for the first time.
For the first
From
time for
Raleigh.
Raleigh.
Yep.
Hi everyone, I'm Tina Zorzis. I've lived in Raleigh with my husband and our 2 children for about 4 years now. This is my first time running for school committee or any town responsibility. So I'm really excited. The reason why I decided to run for school committee is that I wanted to get more involved in the community. I saw that there was an opening. And for me, my children are almost 3 and 16 months. So they're on the young side. They're not in the schools yet, but I thought of that as something to be able to offer a fresh perspective to the school committee, not having kids in the school system, as I'm particularly vested in making sure that we have the best schools possible. One of the things that I hope to do is work in conjunction with a lot of the town officials, including the selectmen, since this is something that I'm new to, and with the rest of the school committee, just to understand how things work and how I can make the biggest impact possible and be effective. I'm also a licensed realtor in Mass and New Hampshire, so it's important for, I think, the health and the growth of our communities to have strong schools. So with that, I'm particularly interested in making sure that that happens with my involvement in school committee. So, and any insight that you have for me, I would really appreciate it. I think the biggest thing that helps anyone is having open lines of communications. It's the best way that you can learn to make things better. So I appreciate your feedback and your insight moving forward, and I appreciate your support. Thank you.
Grillick, who is also a write-in candidate from Salisbury for the Triton Regional School District.
Well, I am currently a member of the Triton School Committee, and I didn't take out my papers because I thought I was retiring, because my husband is retiring next year or the year after, I wasn't sure, so I said, well, this is probably a good time, but no one else took out papers. His retirement date isn't, firm, so I said, well, I'll just run again. But I'm running as a write-in candidate, so I have little cards for everybody when you leave, so you know how to spell my name. I have a background in education. I was a teacher for many years and I retired as an assistant principal from the Wilmington Middle School. And my focus on the school committee, I've been a strong advocate for full-day kindergarten and after-school activities. And also, I'd like Joe coming to all the meetings because he keeps our head where it belongs in terms of the finances. I've served on the Finance Committee and I'm on the Personnel Negotiations Committee. And this is also part of my decision, was that we're negotiating a teacher's contract right now and also a teacher's aide contract, instructional aides. And the school committee thought it'd be too hard to get somebody in the middle of these negotiations. I've lived in Salisbury since I bought a place there in 2007. I've lived permanently there since 2011. I brought my family up in Wenham. And since that time, I've served on the Board of Health, so I empathize with you. The septic systems, they get a little old after a while. And right now I'm on the board of the Cable Board and the Salisbury Beach Betterment Association. And I do have a strong interest in keeping special ed costs down because I was a special ed teacher. I know what kids need, but I also know that there are ways to do things where you can keep your costs semi-reasonable. I promised the stakeholders to keep the finances within reason. I'm very sympathetic to Rowland and Salisbury because we're taking all our new growth money and putting it into the schools. And my daughter's a single parent. I know, it's hard for her to pay taxes. In Salisbury, we have a lot of retired people. 600 new condominiums in the last 10 years. Most of those people are on fixed incomes. So keeping our costs under control, managing a tight budget, keeping a very strong curriculum so our kids can be competitive. That's one of our major goals as well. And making sure our management is tight is what I plan to do. We have a brand new stadium. Joe is a part of that. I'm very proud of it. And we have a very strong math curriculum now. We're looking forward to strengthening our science curriculum. So I have cards and I'll pass out so you know how to spell my name. It's a little weird. So thank you. I hope you'll consider me for another term. Right.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Monique. Okay, I will now open it up for questions.
Probably the only non-candidate. I'm not running for anything. My name is Terry Davidson. I live in Rowley, and I'd like to ask Mr. Mary, and I'm asking this question in the really hopes to start a dialogue in Rowley about inclusiveness. I am one of the few Jewish people who live in Rowley. There aren't too many Jewish people. And I know there was an incident last year. I know you apologized for it. But I would like to see what can Rowley, even though Rowley, the town government really focuses on, the bread and butter issues like the school and the health department and the housing authority, but what can we do in Rowley to foster inclusiveness? Because we are very much, and if you're running for the school committee, I think that's an important consideration too. And again, I'm not trying to again rehash, but I when I heard about the incident, I felt I needed to at least, as someone that has experienced a lot of anti-Semitism in my life, feel the need to really combat it. And we live in an age now where a lot of people are concerned about racial divisions, cultural divisions, religious divisions. So what can we as a town do, and how as select people and as a school committee, what can we do to show the community at large that our communities are inclusive and welcoming, and that we're not just Caucasian. There are people of color that live in this community, and there are people that are not Christian who live in this community. So I would just like your ideas, and I'm happy to work with you on this. And, you know, and again, from an outsider perspective, when I first moved to Rowley 25 years ago, I was told by people that there was a lot of anti-Semitism here, not to move here. And I never believed that. And I really don't I believe that you used the phrase incorrectly. But I think more needs to be done. And I'm always, you know, I want to move forward. But I felt like I needed to say something, because there aren't too many people who are Jewish who live in Rowley.
Okay, so the question is, what can we and our individual positions in the town government do to foster a welcoming sense of inclusivity for?
Right, and I think we need to do something more than just on the individual level. I think we need to let people know that Rowley is a welcoming community.
And the question was directed to Mr. Mary. I'll ask him to speak first, and then anyone else who would like to chime in on the topic of inclusivity would be welcome to.
To be honest with you, I'm not sure what we would do. Or would need somebody like yourself to kind of direct us or anything.
Yeah. Which I'm happy to do, and I would, again, be happy to work with the, school. I mean, I think it starts with our kids. I mean, and actually there were, I know in the schools, my daughter was there, it's been a while, but there were a few incidents, not in the school necessarily, though periphery. So again, I'm just saying, if you can, if there is room on the agenda, whether it's, the selectmen's meeting or select people's meeting or the school committee or, but I think, I think we need to do something to foster, an atmosphere that, we are willing to work together, nonpartisan. Because in this era, we're living in a very tense era.
I think you bring up a good point in that there's probably a lot of social tension right now throughout the country, but I think over time, just what I've seen coming in with a young family, getting to know a lot of young families that are moving into Raleigh, especially in working in real estate, is I think you're going to start seeing the demographics of a town like Raleigh start shifting into becoming, I think it's probably more demographically diverse than some of the surrounding towns, but I think even more so. On a school level, I don't know because my kids aren't in school yet, I don't know if there's like international festivals or days that we could do on the common. I mean, me personally, I'm first generation American. Both my parents and my husband's parents were born and raised in Greece. We both speak a second language and we're raising our children bilingual, and they don't have common names. So that's something that I often think about too. I've been lucky in my life that I've never experienced, discrimination on a serious level, but I can understand that is a concern. But I think too, one of the challenges in Raleigh that hopefully will get better with time is just to have more people on both ends of the spectrum, demographically or age levels, old and young, get more involved in the community and start communicating together. I think we're lucky that we live in a community that, I love my neighborhood, I know all my neighbors, I've had the opportunity, like like Maggie touched on, to bring my kids to the library. I've met a lot of great families that live in this town and that want to move into the town. So I'm really encouraged by that incidents, if they are happening, won't continue to happen at that level and things should get better. But I would definitely like to work with you on something like that.
I think on the school level, which I worked in middle school, there has been a lot of bullying and this kind of stuff that you're talking about is when it starts. And I'm trying to think of, what we could do in schools, and I think what would be effective on the secondary, middle school and secondary, is if you or somebody, who's diverse, led a panel discussion in social studies classes. I think that would probably be really good. I'll tell you, I was at the post office in Salisbury this week, and I took a picture of the back of a guy's car. It was unbelievable. I could not believe that this guy was running around in public. And he was right in Salisbury, so this is not just Raleigh, it's everywhere. And I think right now with, the politics the way they are, people have permission to do this now, and they feel empowered and emboldened. And I think the children, we need to get the message across that this is not tolerated, and it's highly discouraged, and it's not appropriate in a multicultural society. They might not like having a multicultural society, but we've got a multicultural society. And I'm like Tina, I was born in Quebec, and French was my first language, and when I was a child, I had dark skin, and I was called every name in the book about being black, so, I understand, I wasn't a black person, but, picture this in the 50s, and I was, it was hard to tolerate, so I have some empathy for it. But I don't think that people understand the hurt that they're conveying, and I think kids are ignorant of what they're doing. So I think dialogue at that level is very useful, because they're hearing at home what their parents are saying, so they're mouthing it, and you're seeing those swastikas in the schools, and I find it very alarming. I do. I think it's just the tip of the iceberg. After I saw that sticker, I said to myself, you know what? This is no longer underground. This is out there.
Right.
So, and I think the schools,
to do that.
they have the freedom and they have permission, and it's all over the country. So these kids, I think, need to know. And I think you and other people that have experienced it, talking about LGBT kids, there are kids in Triton schools that are transgendered, and now Trump just gave states permission not to respect their rights. Hello? You get that message from the president. How are you going to act in a public school?
I mean, we live in a little community, and I know my daughter's in her early 20s, and she knows at least 4 kids in the Triton school system that came out as transgender. So we're a small community, so that.
Right, there are kids on the elementary level. And those kids are more tolerant because they're trained. But once they get to middle school, that's when all that stuff starts. And now we've got laws not even protecting people. You're getting it right out of the White House. So it's critical, and something, I think you're right, the schools need to take the lead on it. So if you wanted to come to the school committee and talk about it, I would highly support it.
Yeah, so, again, Mr. Mary, I'm not, I heard about it in the fall, and, I just felt as, one of the few Jewish people that live in Raleigh, I did need to talk to you about it. And I realized people learn phrases, and you learn phrases, and it becomes part of your vocabulary. But I would like to see if we can do something in Raleigh that goes beyond just, you're dealing with pressing issues at the school and housing and the health department, and I wish there were more people here today, but there are. But if we can do something, whether it's around as a community around Martin Luther King birthday, which is again it's a date that many people organize events where you learn about multiculturalism, but I think it's important for people to not just assume anyone is of a certain faith or of a certain background or whatever, or sexuality. And so as the town, I would like to see that, and if you have any other ideas, you know,
I think the
Happy to
library
work
would be an
with you.
ideal partner in
Yeah.
that endeavor as well. And we do celebrate things like Martin Luther King Day with displays and special programs
Right.
throughout the year.
right.
But it is hard to reach out. I know that my oldest son is 44, but when he was back in junior high school, there were 2 black families in town.
Right.
And he was, I think he was fortunate enough that he got to play soccer with the oldest boy, and we had a great time. I got to meet his father, his mother, and to this day, 30 years later, we're still friends. We still talk. We ask how the kids are doing, how her grandchildren are doing, but it's hard because was that only one family, or I think there might have been a second family in town.
Yeah.
That's you know. So it's very limiting
Right.
as to reaching out and being with people. But you have to make the effort. You have to go out and talk to people. You know, if you come to the library, I think Charlie will meet some fantastic people. I started out as a trustee of the library, and they were wonderful people to work with and to serve with. And then I went over to the selectman's office. But you have to get out into the community and meet people and talk to people and find out, you know, how they feel about things. And that's the only way you're going to get people talking.
I think you would find a lot of like-minded, and I don't know how you network within the community or what your base is in terms of with your neighbors, but I think you would find a lot of like-minded people that would be involved in organizing something or continuing that dialogue even beyond like having partners like school committee or the library. And I think especially a lot of the younger families moving into town would probably really appreciate that and think of that as an asset to rally. Because there is a perception outside looking into a small town like this demographically that it's, you know, white, Caucasian, not, you know, diverse, perhaps closed-minded, you know, so I definitely think that would be a good thing, but I think people have the other fine line, and the challenge is that people need to be accountable for getting involved. Like, it's great that you came here tonight, and everyone's busy, and everyone has jobs, and, you know, Maggie brought her kids, I have 2 kids in diapers still and work full-time. Like, people need to step up and get more involved at the local level. And stop worrying about like the posts on Facebook and social media and watching TV and everything that's going on in the national news, and get back to the local level. And that's my soapbox.
Running to school.
Right. You know, I don't have tons of time, but I'm making the time because I think it's an important investment of time for myself, for my children, and for the community at large. And I think I'm hopeful that more people will step up and get involved, because that's what makes a difference.
It does. It really does. I'd like to just offer one story. I'm on the Pine Grove School Renovation Committee, and we had our first meeting, and the teacher had just had a little baby, and she asked, you know, do you mind? I said, as a grandparent, I love little ones, and so she brought him to the meeting, and he just slept through the whole meeting, and as soon as we had a motion to adjourn, he woke right up and he was just fine, ready to go home.
You're kind of baby.
All right, so I feel like we got a really good coverage on the inclusivity topic and maybe some avenues to explore for future actions. Anyone else want to comment on that or open another line of questioning?
I do. I really liked what Tina was saying about community involvement, and that was actually going to be my question. We're here with Mr. Mary, who's serving on 3 boards, Mr. Perry, who's serving on 2, and Mr. Costello, who's serving on 2. what can we do to get people more involved in town? We've been talking about this as a library board of trustees. Why is it always the same people stepping up to the plate?
And why are so few people here tonight,
Why are so few
right?
people
Right,
here
right.
tonight?
Yeah.
What can we do to get more people involved? I know as a library board, we've been talking about possibly putting together like a volunteer event or an event where people can come and find out what the town's needs are, what organizations in town need help, and how they can help. But I don't know that everybody is of our mind that it is your duty as a citizen to participate. So what do you think they could do to increase participation in town? Be it stepping up to, be a soccer coach or, serving on some of these boards?
Well, as I told Tina earlier, that a friend of mine came up to me just a few weeks ago at the Council on Aging, and he said, "Are we getting any young people involved?" And I said, "Yes, we are." And he said, "Are we getting any women involved?" And I said, "Yes, we are." We answered both questions with Tina, but you're right. The 5 of us sitting on the Board of Selectmen, we're all retired. I'm 75.
That's a demanding job.
I'm 75 years old, so,
You're looking good, Joe.
so, and everybody brings up to the, but you need to get more people involved. And I'm on the Housing Authority. I enjoy meeting new people, and I've enjoyed meeting the members of that board. But, you can be spread thin, and if more people took the time to become involved, some people will come to a meeting and say, "Well, gee, I didn't hear anything about it." Well, we're every Monday night we're on channel 26 and 9 for Comcast and Verizon, and I know I go through the announcements every Monday night telling everybody about what's going on, and the presentations at the library were the collecting for the food pantry, and but you have to find out, you have to put yourself out there, come into the town hall and see what's going on.
I think also you have to ask people, because people like to be asked. Like somebody called me up and said, "Why don't you run for school committee?" I would have never thought of it. And I said, that's a good idea. But also make them feel welcome. Sometimes you join a group and, people, they already have the group formed and they're not really welcoming, and it's kind of, and you see that at the senior center a lot, they have their own bingo table, and, you have to reach out to people and make them feel welcome and encourage them to come. Everybody wants to be asked.
It's funny that, that you should bring that up, that we had a selectman meeting, and we had a man in the audience, and he had some questions about the planning board. And we said, we have a vacancy. And we said, would you like to serve? And he said, let me find out about it. And so he went to the planning board, and then he came back and said, I would. So we said, just jot a little, write a little thing up and submit it, and we'll put you on the planning board. And now we have a new member on the planning board.
That's great. I almost wonder if, so there's a Rowley Moms Facebook group that was started about a year ago, which is personally how I met some of the nurses who's involved with school, on school committee, and Maggie, and I think it's kind of the wave of the future in terms of communication and getting the message out there faster. And I think, I don't remember if there was an idea discussed about hosting some sort of forum to sort of explain to people how government works. I think after the election there was a lot of questions, people really wanting to understand what's going on beyond the news. So maybe something about how local government works, because I don't think people either realize it or don't have the time or care enough to realize that local government and our taxes and the schools have a greater effect than a lot of the stuff that we're seeing and complaining on the news. Not that it's not important. So I feel like, again, going back to asking people and maybe educating them
Educated.
how much it matters, or creating, I mean, I grew up in a town of, 100,000 people, is very different than Raleigh, but we had like young professional groups, like I know there's a young professional group out of Newburyport, which again is a very different town, but I'm almost wondering if, we start groups like that or partner with the library, groups that can meet here, or, young families that want to get involved in the town, because I noticed from the public hearing that I came to, and even the town meeting, there are a lot of people that obviously work full-time, are very busy, have kids, that have very strong opinions, if you were at the meeting the other night, about what's going on. So what I think in my head, they seem to know a lot, they seem to be following what's going on. Why aren't they actually getting involved? That was one of the reasons why I decided to get involved, because I figure if you're upset about something or you want to make a change, then you have to do something. You can't just sit back and complain. Like some people are like, well, I don't know what's going on. Well, we live in an age that you can Google just about anything, right? And find out what's going on, if you want to. So,
I mean, you could have a volunteer night, like it could be, Girl Scouts, it could be for the different committees, Conservation Committee, it could be just like a general volunteer night for Raleigh, the Friends of the Library, or, whatever, whatever type of group that, is out there. And so you can get everyone in one room.
right, almost like a college fair, but
Yeah, like a college.
Yeah, right.
Virtually,
Yeah.
There's talk. I guess we probably don't want to make any promises, but we're working in that direction.
Yeah.
I'm still working on the citizens group. It just,
It's
time
time
around
consuming.
politics, everyone I seem to find has a certain opinion that probably should be a little more balanced for the library than what I would prefer. So, I'm Maggie Rahman.
Okay, because I.
Yes, we have to talk.
Yeah, just talk.
And maybe someone who's watching the recast of this program on Raleigh Community Media will be inspired to get involved, ask a question, talk to somebody about getting involved. Any other questions or topics?
I don't know enough about technology despite my job, which is buying technology. But when I lived in Salem, you could sign up and have the agendas emailed to you every day rather than having to go out and seek them out. I wonder if it would be possible. They called it the Sunshine Law, something about that. If we could get the agendas, if you could sign up for an agenda and get the school committee agenda mailed to you when it came out, when it was available. Or some of when stuff comes up on Raleigh Media, if you could be alerted, oh, this town meeting is now available online somehow. That would encourage some participation as people have availability.
Maybe pass that along to Janet and see if there's a way it could happen.
Yeah, there's so much information there that, they have the town website, the board, Raleigh Board of Water Commissioners has their own website. There are different websites to get information on.
Whatever you want from Triton is online.
Yes,
Yes.
it is.
But you
Yeah.
know what, to that,
And they do live streaming of the.
Yeah, they live
yeah. But to that point, I think a lot of people are lazy, even though they can seek out the
So if they
information.
didn't.
It's different if it gets sent to them and it's front
Yeah.
in their face, where they might, we all, like, you think of a million things, oh, I should do this, and then you forget and do something else. So that might be, I think that would be a rather large undertaking and probably a long-term project to set something like that, to capture emails and then set that up. But it is something possible, and something that could work, might be worth working towards.
And you can go to Raleigh, if you go to the Raleigh webpage and go to RCM,
Right.
we have a schedule of all the meetings.
Yep.
You can click on the schedule, it'll show you all the meetings, or you can search for a meeting. So everything is there on our website. You can watch everything online. You don't have to wait for it to be on TV, you can watch it online.
Yeah, the Board of Trustees are on the website, are recorded. And
Not anymore. We haven't
No?
been recorded in a while.
Oh.
Is that being recorded? There was a little bit of a staff crunch at RCM, and a lot of meetings happen on Tuesdays. So Jen asked me to give her a heads up if there was a topic that should be more widely disseminated, and she would make arrangements to get someone to cover the library board, but no, our meetings have not been recorded for
okay.
a while, yeah.
Okay. Because I know that, I watch occasionally, we'll watch other boards, I won't turn it on when the selectmen are on. I don't like to watch myself on TV. But, you find out what's going on at the water board, you find out what's going on at the Conservation Commission. If you're interested, you would have to go and make the effort.
I really enjoyed this conversation very much, so I thank everybody for coming tonight.
Thank you. Please have a cup of coffee and continue to chat if you like. And thanks to everyone for their busy patience.
Monique,
All right.